Don't adjust your diet. It's not stat grading. It's just it's a different post. Fill it in for Bear. Bear taking a few days off. Called up AAA. I came in to sit in. I'm a radio show host up in Huntsville. But I was happy to help my buddy Bear Coleman out. Join us on the line now, our next guest. Running for the United States Senate, Alabama. You know him. He was our U.S. Attorney General, and he served as your senator for over 2 decades. Senator, or former United States Attorney General Jeff Sessions. Senator, how are you today?
I'm good, Jeff. Good to be with you. You've kind of developed your own stature nationwide now. Congratulations. You're doing well.
Well, it's statewide, maybe, but not quite nationwide. We're working on nationwide.
Well, sometimes I see you in national reports.
Let's get right into it. Obviously you're running for the United States Senate here. You and the president having some differences over Twitter. Just let us hear your side of the story.
Well, Memorial Day is come and gone. This campaign needs to be focused all the way to the election day. We're asking the people of Alabama to pay close attention. There's just no doubt that the president disagreed with my decision, which I believe correct that the law required. I couldn't investigate a campaign of which I played a key role in the Trump campaign. I would have been a witness also to some of the events, and they were even accusing me of colluding with Russians. So it was all bogus, and fortunately, it's been concluded, and he's been cleared, but it was a tough time. And what I would say now is that the president has endorsed, but really the decision who is going to represent Alabama in the Senate is the decision of the people of Alabama. And I'm asking them to consider my record, my consistent support for the president's agenda, the fact that I was the first one to support him, the fact that I've never criticized him and tried to undermine him in any way, but actually have done everything I could since the very beginning to have him be successful and to carry out the agenda that he's advocating. Because I was for that agenda before he announced. It's the agenda of the people of Alabama. That's what we believe in. We want to end illegal immigration at the border, protect our national interest. We want to stand up to China and not have them take advantage of us. We want to protect our American manufacturing against unfair competition. We need to do the things that actually work to create a successful America that's great again. So that's where I am, and it's time for us today. I challenge Tommy Tuberville. Stand up, be counted. Let's hear from you. What do you believe? I'm very troubled about a lot of the things he said. Actually, very troubling. They're very much not Trumpian values. So we need to have him stand up and not just hide away, not just run away, and actually stand up and defend what he says he believes in before the people of Alabama.
Now, Senator, when you talk about what was required by law for the recusal, it's my understanding it was the Department of Justice regulations or the rule book. How is that? I mean, how is that law? And you're an expert on this. You're the former U.S. Attorney General. Can you walk us through that a little bit? If it is something in the rule book of the agency or the department, how does that transfer into being a legal binding document?
Well, the Code of Federal Regulations is where it is. It's not just a guidance letter or a policy point from the Attorney General or something. It is a notice. It's published nationwide. People can hear and make complaints to it, and then it becomes adopted. And for the people at the department, it basically has the impact of law. It's not the Attorney General can't change it, number one. Number two, it's just basic. So the district attorney in Lee County can investigate if he worked at a bank, the bank he worked at, where he would be a witness to the investigation, in which they may even have suggested he was involved in wrongdoing at the bank. You can't investigate yourself. This is a fundamental principle. But the regulation says if you participate in a political organization and in a substantial role, and you're not able to investigate yourself, and so that, to me, it was a. So I would just say this: Rudy Giuliani, the president's lawyer, said I did the right thing. Attorney General Ed Meese for Ronald Reagan said I did the right thing. Bill Barr, in his testimony at confirmation, the Attorney General today, he said I did the right thing. Lindsey Graham, Chuck Grassley, the last two chairmen of the Senate Judiciary Committee, said I did the right thing. It was just, I know how hard it was for the president. It was hard for me. They leaked on me, but it was nothing like the unfair treatment he got week after week, month after month. And I wish that it could have happened differently, and I wish it could have been concluded much sooner. I never doubted that he'd be cleared. I certainly knew of no impropriety with the Russians. And so that's the way it was. So we have a disagreement on that, the president's strong-willed. But I'm taking my case to the people of Alabama, and I'm saying to them, we've got, Alabama has interest. I went to every county, 67 in this state for 18 years. I know this state. I defended our military bases, our universities, and education, agriculture, years after years after year. I know all that work, and it's hard work. And then people want more than that, Jeff. They want a senator who can stand up on the floor of the Senate, debate Chuck Schumer, debate all these people, Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and all that crowd, to defend our values and to advocate for good legislation and oppose and kill bad legislation. I did that. I never failed. I never sold out to the establishment. Tommy Tuberville says I'm a part of the swamp. That is not true. That's false. Actually, it's a very big lie. It's part of the problem in this campaign that we've got to confront.
Well, Senator,
was Jeff Sessions a part of that crowd, or was he the one that fought against them?
Well,
if he was part of it, why did he endorse Donald Trump?
Let me jump in here and ask you this: when you were Attorney General, you would acknowledge there was a quote unquote deep state problem when you arrived on the scene there. While you were Attorney General, I mean, what can you show to roll that back? Because it just seemed to a lot of people that it was it was these career bureaucrats running the show, and not the democratically elected or the president's cabinet, doing kind of controlling the show there. Was that? I mean, is that a fair assessment?
No, it's not a fair assessment. Look, a number of conservatives said no cabinet official for President Trump did a better job of advancing his agenda than Jeff Sessions. The New York Times said in June, after I took office, Sessions has taken over the Department of Justice with head-turning speed, leaving career attorneys disoriented by the sea change. That was not a favorable comment from the New York Times, but I took it as a badge of honor. I recommended day one that Jim Comey be removed and we appoint a new head of the FBI. And the president, so much was happening. He didn't act on it right away, but it was my recommendation a few months later when he asked me about it that he be terminated. I did put that in writing. So every department head has been replaced. By the way, like when I recused, the job fell to the Deputy Attorney General eventually, but the President makes all those appointments. Only he can terminate the FBI Director. Only he can nominate a new one. Only he can nominate the Deputy Attorney General and the 12 other key department heads. And we work with the White House to appoint really star people there. But there are career people, and they stay there, and they're almost impossible to get rid of. And they can leak, they can undermine, and they can do those kinds of things. And they did it. And there were way too many leaks. And they were coming out of the FBI in a torrent. I went from 3 open leak investigations when I got there to 20-something leak investigations. We basically, my view about it was, Jeff, and let me say this to your listeners. When I went to as Attorney General, I'd been United States Attorney in Southern Alabama for 12 years. I'd been 20 years in the Senate Judiciary Committee with oversight over the Department of Justice. I knew what the problems were over there. I was determined that we were going to restore discipline and integrity in that department. And so that was one reason I had to do the right thing on the recusal. You can't set an example. Within the first few weeks, you violate a plain law. So we brought discipline. We prosecuted and investigated. Our Inspector General, that was my Inspector General, Horowitz, who brought out this kind of all these wrongdoings, and basically everybody's been removed. Now, it just took some time on some of them, but we removed all the top officials immediately.
Joined by former United States Attorney General Jeff Sessions here on FM Talk 93.9. Let me ask you this.
I'll say one more thing on that.
Oh, sure. Go right ahead.
When I left, shortly after I left, 3 former United States Attorney Generals under Republicans, Ed Meese, the great Ed Meese, Judge McCasey, Attorney General McCasey, and Bill Barr, wrote the nicest, strongest, affirming summary of my tenure as Attorney General. And if people should look it up if they are in doubt that we did good things as Attorney General.
Well, let me ask you this. Knowing what you know now, if you had to do it all over again, would you accept the appointment to Attorney General for a Trump administration?
Look, I believe that I was ready to lead that department. I'd spent 14 years in the department. I had supervisory oversight for it for 20 years. I knew what the problems were, and we did tremendous things. I know everybody, they only think this was about recusal. But look, there was law enforcement. I traveled the country. We reversed the rise in crime just like I promised we would do. We defended religious freedom resolutely. We supported the president in appointing the best group of judges the country's ever seen. We stood up against abusive litigating tactics, and we put good people in the tops of all these organizations. So I know we did a lot of great things. I'm very proud of that. I just, it's unfortunate we have this big dispute over one issue, but the president supported us. It's one of the reasons I'm proud of him. He appointed good judges. He listened to us on litigation. We helped him advance immigration sites and went against sanctuary cities, and we had zero tolerance of prosecutions of people who came to the country illegally. We supported our Homeland Security brothers and sisters. Those kind of things that we did occur. And so I think we did a good job.
Do you think that's you would still do it today if you know what you did now? You would give up
You can't go back on those kind of things. Yeah, that's just a silly thought. Frankly, I don't mean to be dismissive, but I'm not going there. I took the job. I did my best duty. I was served at the pleasure of the president. And the question is, right now, we've talked about my situation over and over and over and over again. Let's talk about Tommy Tuberville. He says he disapproves the president's China agenda. He says he is a 100% free trader and doesn't believe in tariffs. Who's going to be able to help the president carry out his agenda? Does he know anything about how we have got to reconfigure the military strategic posture of the United States of America to confront the rising China and their abusive, dangerous tactics? They represent the greatest threat to us. If I know how to do this, as Attorney General, I learned even more about China. I started the China Initiative that has resulted from virtually zero prosecutions of Chinese entities to over 50, and there are 1,000 investigations going on of Chinese entities in the United States right now. This is the kind of thing that I'm prepared to do. We've got to get the Republicans in the Congress, and in particular the Senate, off their duff. We've got some great people like Josh Hawley and Tom Cotton and Marsha Blackburn, Tennessee. Those people are not having enough support. Too many of our Republican senators are just sitting on the sidelines, not engaged. This is a huge battle. President Trump, I believe, will be reelected. He'll have momentum. We need to have a senator who can hit the ground running and help him achieve those principles that we have an opportunity to. They might slip away from us in 2 or 3 years. The window may close. That's why I think I can help right now in this country. And I don't see any interest by Tommy Tuberville in any of these issues. He's never shown a passion for them. At age 65, he'd never given a contribution to a single political candidate, never even said he was a conservative or a Republican. To our knowledge, he certainly did not lift a finger for Donald Trump. What, was he afraid of some liberal college professor or something? He claims I was there campaigning all over the country. Where was he? Now he says he's the greatest Trumpian in the world. Look, I just would say that we need, I'm asking the people of Alabama to remember that you could trust me, to remember in the last election for this Senate seat 6 years ago, I had not a single opponent. I was the only senator in the country that had no opponent. People trusted me. I think I earned that trust. Lord knows I gave my best efforts to be worthy of the trust of the people of Alabama. I can do it again. I'm ready to do it again. And it will be in a fashion that could be significant in advancing the things that Alabamians believe in, that I believe in.
Hey, Senator, we're a little low on time. Real quick, can you tell folks, give them a website, tell them where they find out more about your campaign?
Yeah, at jeffsessions.com, you can get that. And so we're challenging Tommy Tuberville to a debate. It's time for him to come out from hiding and state what he believes in. I mean, he had no beliefs before he announced for this race, and he's been very, very sneaky or hiding or running away from confrontation. It's time for him to tell us what he would do if he's elected. So that's where we're heading now. Memorial Day's over. We're full-fledged heading to July 14th, and we ask everybody to turn out and vote.
Hey, as always, Senator, I want to thank you for making time for us.
Thank you, Jeff. Good to be with you.
That was former United States Attorney General Jeff Sessions joining us on the program. We're going to take another time out. We'll be right back to close it all out. This is FM Talk 93.9, the WQSI